pomegranate and the walnuts really balance each other. A pungent sauce that's slightly sweet, just a delicious sauce. A little bit like a mole in a way. It's for holidays. It's delicious anytime. Today we are going to make one of my absolutely favorite dishes in the world. It's called Fessenjan, named after a small city in Persia or Iran. Jews have lived in Persia since ancient times. They went, and probably even came before this, they went with the Jews when they were expelled from Jerusalem in, I think, 587 BC, in the in the 6th century BC. About 10,000 of them went to Babylon. As the years went by, many went from there to Persia until the Shah of Iran fell. And many came to the United States and other countries. They went to Israel, they went to Italy, but the majority came to the United States. Now the reason there are pomegranates and there are walnuts in this dish is that the capital of walnut production in the world, and probably the earliest walnuts, was in Persia. Let's start making this delicious, delicious dish. All right, so now what we're going to do is a very basic chicken soup, chicken broth. We're taking our chicken, putting it in the water, and we're going to cover it almost for about 4 cups to almost cover. We'll take 2 onions. You don't even have to bother cutting them because you're not going to eat them, just to flavor the broth. Turmeric and salt and pepper to taste. And all you're going to do is boil this chicken. And you let this go for about, you let it go for about 30 minutes until you can pull it apart. Okay, so here we're going to put the onions in. And I'm going to take this out. I probably should have. Look at this chicken. Yeah, this is fine. And as I said before, you could do this an easier way, but this isn't really that hard at all. You keep sautéing this for a little bit. So look at the beautiful yellow of the skin. Turmeric was one of the cure-alls of the ancient world. People thought that it was just so healthy, and so they used it a lot in cooking. And here we're just going to constantly stir our onions. So you take the chicken, cut it in pieces. They say you shred it, but here I am using my fingers. Okay. And whenever there's Persian food, there's always going to be Fessenjan. And some people in this country, to make it sweeter, they put ketchup in it. All the chicken is cut in the pot, and we're going to add 2 pounds of ground walnuts. And you'll notice that there's a little bit, they're chopped, but they're not chopped so much that there's no texture to them. And make sure that they're not stale walnuts, that they're walnuts that you can really use, because there's a different flavor to them, as there is to anything that you've left too long. Anyway, so you grind them in a food processor, but pulse, so that they're not too finely ground. Then what you do is you add a cup of the chicken broth from the chicken. You'll add more later. And 4 cups of pomegranate juice. And then you add this is the Jewish version of your apricots and your dates. Other people add squash and different things like that. And here is your pomegranate syrup. And then we're going to add the onions to add flavor, salt and pepper. You can see it's a little bit pink, and cook it covered on a slow heat for 1 hour, carefully checking to see if you need more chicken broth because you don't want it to be too thick. Now it's finished. It looks like a mush, but trust me, it is delicious. A delicious mush. Okay, so you put some rice. Of course, if I were Persian, it would be perfectly cooked rice. With each piece, you can see they're pretty, it should be basmati, and you want each kernel of rice separate. You put your Fessenjan, your meat, your walnuts, your pomegranates, pomegranate juice on top. And then you take a few herbs, sprinkle them. Look at how that makes something look good. And then a few pomegranate seeds. This is a dish that not only varies from country to country, but it also varies from family to family. And each family's recipe, they're definitely sure this is the right recipe. Sometimes they will make it with tiny little meatballs that we would call, the Jewish meatballs would be called albandigas. And they really come from Persia and also Iran. Came to Spain, from Spain to Latin America and beyond. So I think I should try it. And you can see little pieces of the apricot, which add a little bit of surprise to the dish. But this is definitely a Jewish way of making Fessenjan from an old Jewish family that went from Persia to Los Angeles. Bon appetit.